The Masters was a tournament of historic firsts. First-time partners, first-time paddles, the first tournament with Nike, and the first time I've ever separated out my white laundry. The Masters always starts the year out with a bang, high stakes right away since it's a slam, but at the same time, it's the first tournament of the year and players are trying out new paddles and new partners. Obviously, the biggest pre-tournament news was Anna Leigh's signing with Nike and Franklin. I talked about the bigger implications of Nike in this video, so I won't go too far into it here, but she dominated pre-tournament news coverage. If you're new to the channel, my name is Zane Navratil. I'm a pro pickleball player on the PPA Tour. I played in this tournament, and my goal is to try and help you understand what's going on in pro pickleball and to try and help grow the pro game. If that's something that you resonate with, help me grow the pro game by subscribing to the channel or by sharing this video with a friend that you play with. The tournament started on Tuesday and it had record attendance as well with over 1,700 participants. If you plan on attending or playing a PPA event sometime this year, check out my discount codes to save you some money. Ben Johns decided to sit out of singles, which led my new PicklePod co-host Nico the Lefty to make the bold claim that
Ben's not winning another singles gold the rest of his career. Or he's not going to win one in 2026 and he's not going to play singles 2027 and beyond.
And it's an interesting take because if Ben isn't playing singles in a slam after several weeks of rest, when is he going to play singles again? Even when he does play, I don't think he's a top 5 singles player at this point. So this take isn't as crazy as it may seem at face value. I'm curious what you think. And spoiler alert, Nico has more crazy takes that we'll talk about in this video as well. Most of the top seeds weren't in action on Tuesday, but we did get a first look at Will Howells on the PPA Tour. And that first look probably wasn't what Will was hoping for. Willie was using his brand new signature paddle, but as the 71st seed, he ran into number 2 seeded Federico Stocksrud, who welcomed him to the PPA with an 11-0, 11-4 victory. Will was able to rebound for a mixed doubles win with Rachel, followed by a double pickle in men's dubs with Noe Cleef later on. The biggest upset of Tuesday was the 70th seeded Matt Burkhart taking out 5th seeded Jaume Martinez-Vich in 3 games. In mixed doubles, Anna Leigh unveiled her new Nike outfit, her new Franklin paddle, and also her new serve, which is actually kind of genius. At first glance, I was like, what the hell is she doing? Lob serves are going to be crushed at the pro level. But if you can get your lob serve consistently deep in the court, or your opponent struggles to take the ball on the rise, you can really start out the point at a nice advantage, and she did several times. I have to say, it was very interesting watching the different approaches to returning the lob serve throughout the tournament. You had Leah Jansen re-lobbing, Jack Sock just slapping it, people backing up, taking it on the rise, all that stuff. We'll go through some of the different strategies throughout the video. Interestingly, Anna Leigh wasn't actually using her signature Franklin paddle quite yet. It looks like she's using the C45 Hybrid, not the C45 Aurelius. Today's video is sponsored by Slam It Hydration. It's not too late to get started on your New Year's resolution, and we can all be better hydrated. In fact, if you're not, you're gonna lose focus on the pickleball court, feel crappy, and have slower reaction time. Use the link down below to save on your order, and they're also doing a free trial right now. All you have to do is pay for the shipping. So check it out, feel better on the pickleball court. That's Slam It Hydration. On Wednesday, I announced that I'm joining Team Paddletech. With Anna Leigh finally out of the picture, Paddletech could finally afford me. All jokes aside, Paddletech was actually my first real paddle all the way back in 2015, just after I started playing. So it's really cool to be back with them. Paddletech merged with ProXR, so all the best products from the ProXR line, like the Signature Jolt, are going to be under the Paddletech brand moving forward. I was playing with this unreleased Paddletech Reserve. My team and I also tracked down just about every single player that moved paddle brands. We took note of the companies that are exiting Pro Pickleball and the new companies that are entering Pro Pickleball. We threw some shade at the paddle reviewers, suggest the best approach for you to figure out the best paddle for you. So make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss that banger video. We couldn't fit all of that in this recap video. In men's singles, Johnson took on Johnson, and Johnson was able to beat Johnson 11-9, 11-9.
Point game match.
Somebody on Facebook pointed out that they really needed to put an initial next to their first names, but I'm going to take that one step further. I think that they need an H and a Y on their hats or their clothes or tattooed or something. But anyways, Hunter ended up advancing over his brother Yates. In mixed, Will Howells and Rachel Rohrbacher advanced in 3 games over the tough Eric Onseen's Megan Dazan team. Blaine and I fought off a tough qualifier team to advance. This is actually my first time playing with Blaine, and it definitely lived up to the hype. There was a lot of right here, right nows, and fire me up to just random people in the crowd. That guy bounces around more than a pro pickleball paddle contract, and it was a ton of fun to play with Blaine. One of the teams that I had high expectations for was Riley Newman and Will McKinnon, but they were upset by Yuta Funamizo and Armand Bhatia 8-5. Yuta and Armand is a combo that I overlooked in my partnerships breakdown, but they have a lot of very complementary skills. Yuta can absolutely hold down the line from the right side with his funky tomahawk, and he's really difficult to speed the ball up at. And Armand is really good at dictating from the left. Their weakness may be the kitchen arrival or transition zone, but once they're at the kitchen, that's a very dangerous team. We had another matchup between Rafa Hewitt and AJ Kohler, and it went about as expected. AJ and Rafa have a little bit of a history, and it looks like things didn't cool off much over the offseason. Colin Johns had to have been absolutely miserable with all of that commotion. He was playing with Rafa in his first tournament back from being in Vietnam for almost 3 months. Jack Sock and Pablo took out DJ and Roscoe, and take a look at this walk-off from Jack Sock. Disgusting. Finally, just watch this point with me in silence.
Look at this.
You got it.
Ben will keep lobbing if he gets it.
I got it. You got it. I got it. You got it. Yeah, man.
All right, welcome to Rec Ball. Oh, no way, Gabe. Tweener! This is insane! Another one. It's in there. Another tweener. Now they're lobbing. And Tam Tran takes it.
So if you were counting, that was 12 lobs, 4 drop shots, 2 tweeners, 1 body bag, and a partridge in a pear tree. I love that. What a point. Definitely the point of the weekend. Thursday was our day of rules controversies. In singles, Roscoe didn't hear the score being called. And the ref decides that they're just going to replay the point for some reason. But funny enough, the exact same thing happened to Roscoe against Jack Sock a couple of months ago, and Jack Sock was awarded the point. I personally think that if you don't hear the referee, that's kind of on you, but I'm curious what you think. In women's singles, 17-year-old Kiora Kunimoto pushed Brooke Buckner to the limit and unfortunately lost after a pretty rough line call, but I think that the positive thing here is that she's pushing one of the best singles player in the world to the edge and was one rough call away from a potential huge upset. She won a few challengers in a row and seems to be breaking through, so she's definitely going to be a player to watch very carefully in 2026. Mari Humberg and Jack Sock upset the reunited team of Jay and Jesse 11-8 in the third, and I've been saying for a little while that Jack Sock is playing good ball. That's a really good mixed win. Another good mixed win was Christian Alshon and Tyra Black beating Deckel Barr and Jackie Kawamoto 5-5. I would have thought that Deckel and Jackie would put up a slightly better fight than that, but it's unfortunate for them to run into that team in the round of 16. Deckel and Jackie are definitely a top 8 team, but with Deckel's injuries last year, he just doesn't have any points, and they came in at the number 13 seed. Later in the day, Leah Jansen pulled a hilarious Uno reverse card on the lob serve in this funny moment.
Calculated, very strategic, and very consistent with what she does.
Oh, and very much copying. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, this is fantastic.
It was pretty interesting to see all the different approaches to returning the lob serves throughout the weekend, but this was definitely the funniest. Leah Jansen, meme goat. Hayden and Anna ended up winning this one in straight games, but the match of the day was Will Howells and Rachel Rohrabacher against Federico Stocksrud and Kate Fahey. Once again, this was Will's first tournament back on the PPA Tour, so he had 0 mixed doubles ranking points, which meant that they were the number 18 seed. Our first interesting point here comes at 2-1 in game 2. First, check out this absolutely insane reset from Federico. Point goes on, and next, Rachel gets a ball out wide and kind of scoops it for an around the post, but Federico immediately objects, and the referees call this a carry. But based on the rules, this doesn't seem to be a carry to me. The swing is awkward, but one continuous direction. I'm surprised this wasn't overruled when it did go to the booth. They ended up playing all the way to 13-12 in the third, where we have this insane match point.
Oh, no. Oh, no way.
He got out.
Yes, he got out of the kitchen. And he gets it done!
This is one of the best matches of the tournament, and while they didn't advance far in the draw, I do really like the Will Howells and Rachel Rohrabacher pairing. Also, as you'll see, Fed and Kate seem to be meshing quite well too. CJ Klinger and JW Johnson ended Will Howells' PPA debut 9-2, and I just had to shout out the shirt that CJ wore in the post-match interview. This is a reference to a match that happened here last year that led to one of the best crash outs in pickleball history. Just watch.
No way! There's no way! That's so in! You guys are unbelievable! You guys are a joke! Not you, CJ, but he is!
Finally, in the last match of the day, Blaine and I took on Ben and Gabe. We had a couple of nice runs, but just weren't able to keep momentum going at the right times. Also, it just wouldn't have been right for us to win since I was wearing cream and not white according to you guys in the comments. Guys, come on. That's good enough. It's close enough, don't you think? Anyway, I love playing with Blaine, but my butt's a little sore from all the smacking. Blaine takes the butt smack frequency of Tyson McGuffin and pairs it with the aggression of a Christian Alshon paddle break, which was a very rough combination for my backside. Needs a break. On Friday, Liz Trueluck upset Brooke Buckner 11-7 in the third, proving ball don't lie even 24 hours later. She was 0-3 against Brooke previously, but was able to take this one. Jack Sock took down Fed 11-2 in the third, and Jack is looking like a beast.
Oh, it's good. What?
He's added a two-handed backhand to his game, which, ironically, was the thing that always held him back in tennis. Jack was just 1-5 against Fed previously, and he would move on to face Roscoe Bellamy, who had beaten Connor Garnett 11-8 in the third. So, Jack had been seeing the Anna Leigh Waters lob serves, and he took matters into his own hands to punish them. Just take a look at this jumping, flying forehand. Guys, if you want to punish lob serves, all you have to do is play tennis for 30 years, reach number 8 in the world, and win a couple Grand Slams. If you can do that, you should be able to return this easily. To be fair, it's much easier to return these serves when they are a little bit shorter in the court rather than deep. The problem here was that the serves landed well inside the court, but didn't matter. Ben and Anna Leigh ended up winning relatively easily as they normally do, despite the clips from Jack. Kate and Fed took out Christian and Tyra, and I wasn't really expecting that upset, but Fed and Kate seem to be meshing really well. And Christian and Tyra seem like they might be topping out. They haven't been able to upset any of the top teams recently, and they've also lost to some teams that, realistically, they should be beating, like Jesse and Gabe and Jay and Callie. I get the sense that if they don't figure something out pretty soon, we may possibly see a shift involving Paris Todd. I don't think it's quite time to hit the panic button yet, but this is around the time where players start weighing their options. In another big upset, Noe and Tina, possibly the grindiest kitchen team possible in pro mixed doubles, took out J-Dub and Georgia 13-11 in the third. Interestingly, J-Dub and Georgia were still playing with their Franklin paddles, but they were noticeably absent of any Franklin logos. Like I mentioned earlier, I've got a very deep dive into what players are using coming next week. Finally, Caitlin Christian and Jessie Irvin took game 1 off of Anna Bright and Anna Leigh.
That's wide, and that's game. Wow.
But any hope was shut down very quickly, 11-4, 11-0 in game 2 and 3. The biggest news on Saturday actually came off the court, but we'll get into that after the results. ALW dropped a game in singles to Caitlin Christian, but once again turned it around with an 11-3 win in the third. Caitlin seems to be giving Anna Leigh some problems on a more regular basis. Back at Worlds, Caitlin took game 1 and was 5-5 in game 3 before Anna Leigh pulled away. Is she going to be the one who ends the streak? In the men's semis, Chris Hayworth beat world number 1 Hunter Johnson in convincing fashion 1-6, and it wasn't like Hunter was playing poorly. Probably not his best, but I would think it would be difficult to say that Chris isn't the best singles player in the world right now. On the other side, Jack Sock took down Roscoe Bellamy, who is still using his Pro XR Jolt paddle, but just blacked out. And throughout this match, Jack was absolutely fired up. He looks like he's in great shape. He's yelling with some regularity now, and after the win, Jack had some words for my PicklePod co-host Nico. Nico had recently predicted that a top 20 tennis player would never win a PPA, and there was some logic to it, but listen to Jack's take.
It'd be awesome for me. It'd be the most fun to kind of shut everybody up and get a gold for a tennis player, and for all the social media trolls that say a tennis player will never win a gold. That's my biggest motivation. So as much as I love it for me and the people around me, I'd like to silence a bunch of haters as well.
Anna Leigh and Ben ended Fed and Kate's run, and she nearly ended his life as well. Take a look at this shot.
She's there.
Note to the guys, don't drop shot Anna Leigh or she will get your ass. Jay learned this the hard way. There is more tag to be played. Hayden and Anna ended Noe and Tina's run in 3 games. In women's doubles, the match that needs to be on Championship Sunday ASAP happened in the semifinals. Anna Leigh and Anna Bright versus Tyra and Georgia. Somehow, Georgia and Tyra are still behind Rachel and Catherine in the rankings, but that can't be for much longer. Anna Leigh and Anna Bright won in 3, but I think we're all ready to see that matchup happen on Sundays in 3 out of 5 instead. On the other side of the draw, the Kawamotos, they just win, and they advance to the finals over Etta and Lacey. Ben and Gabe rolled through JW and CJ, and I was excited because we got to see the matchup of Christian and Hayden versus Andre and Fed. Obviously, Christian and Andre played together last year, and Hayden and Fed did. So this is a little bit of a breakup rematch. If I had to guess how that partnership ended, it was probably Christian and Hayden talking to each other and deciding to play together, and then they left Andre and Fed for each other. So those guys are definitely going to have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder heading into this, but the match actually wasn't all that eventful, with Christian and Hayden winning 5 and 9 and leaving feeling pretty validated in their decision to drop their old partners. We also had Chris Callie, Ryan Fu, and Wang Yun all in attendance at the PPA. For those who somehow don't know, Chris Callie is a YouTuber who had his ability to use PPA clips revoked. Ryan Fu is a former PPA player, and I say former because he had his contract terminated alongside James Ignatowicz and Vivian Glosman. And Wang Yun was the OG contract termination last year. And that almost sounds like the start of a joke. So Ryan Fu, Chris Callie, and Wang Yun walk into a PPA. I don't know how to finish that joke, but if you got a good punchline to that one, leave it in the comments. You know what? In fact, actually, whoever leaves the best comment to this one, I'll read that on the Minnesota recap next week. So leave a comment. Funniest one gets read on the show. So it seemed like Ryan Fu may have just been hanging out, but it sounds like there is some progress with Chris Callie making a deal. And QD went out of his way to post a picture of him and his dad with Connor Pardo. I have to imagine that these star-crossed lovers are working out a deal. My hypothesis is that we actually see Wang Yun back at the PPA after the Major League Pickleball season, but we'll see. Finally, Championship Sunday had a big TV slot on CBS. I'm a little bummed that we didn't get to see Chris Hayworth versus Jack Sock in that spot. Instead, we saw Ben and Gabe continue to roll through the competition, and they beat Hayden and Christian in 3 straight games, 11-9, 11-4, 11-5. It seems like Ben and Gabe have reached just another gear, and it's 2 tournaments in a row without dropping a single game. I also think that Christian and Hayden is going to be the team that they match up with most frequently on Championship Sunday. If Hayden can play as well as he did in that mixed final, I could see them giving Ben and Gabe some trouble at some point. The partnership is still new, but I'm looking forward to this budding into a potential rivalry with Ben and Gabe. Anna Leigh and Anna Bright survived a game point against them in the first game against the Kawamotos, but it was one-way traffic after that.
Driving crash, and that's how the first sponsored Nike athlete on the Carvana PPA Tour reacts to winning gold.
Jackie and Jade don't love playing with each other from what I understand, but they really need to on a more regular basis. Whenever they play together, they do really well. They have a very high floor and a very high ceiling as well. If they stick together, I think that we could actually have a big 3 situation in women's doubles. Anna Leigh and Anna Bright, of course, Tyra and Georgia, and then Jade and Jackie. The men's singles final was next, and I'm not going to lie, I was cheering pretty heavily for Chris Hayworth. Don't get me wrong, I genuinely think that Jack Sock has been incredible for the legitimacy of pickleball, but I also think that it's a good thing that he didn't come in and just roll through the competition. If that was the case, and Jack was just winning everything, the tennis purists would be absolutely insufferable. So I would say that Jack is right where we want him to be. Good enough to make the later rounds, but not quite good enough to win yet. Unlike my co-host Nico, I do actually think that Jack Sock is gonna win a tournament this year. He was neck and neck with Chris Hayworth, who's clearly the best player in the world at the moment, but he lost 11-8, 11-8. On championship point, unfortunately, though, it looks like he hurt himself pretty badly trying to recover this overhead from Chris. That sort of slide looks like it could have been a torn hamstring or something or another. I really hope that this isn't something that derails his progress, because Jack Sock is playing really good ball and is very fun to watch. The mixed doubles final was the tightest match of the day, and Anna Bright and Hayden Patriquin pushed Ben and Anna Leigh to the limit. They got up 2-1, but Anna Leigh and Ben grinded out game 4, and at 4-4 in game 5, Ben and Anna Leigh rattled off 7 straight points to take the championship.
Anna Leigh Waters gets the...
But Anna and Hayden have to be pretty happy with that performance. I mean, they're not happy with the loss, but that's a great performance. I'm guessing that Anna has finally found her man if they can continue to find that level, and I think it's quite possible. Hayden continues to elevate his game and now is quite possibly the most dangerous player in pickleball. Maybe this is the mixed doubles team that does end up pushing Ben and Anna Leigh regularly. The last match of the day was Anna Leigh versus Kate Fahey. Anna Leigh obviously still riding her singles winning streak, which had reached 595 days, and it's going to continue for at least another couple weeks. She took down Kate Fahey in dominant fashion, 11-1, 11-4 for her 40th Triple Crown. That's crazy. It's obviously early in the year, and the GOAT still did Triple Crown, but things were a little closer in a couple of divisions than she probably would have liked, and it seems like she's no longer a complete shoo-in to win every single event, or at least every single game. Caitlin Christian is pushing her in singles, Hayden and Anna are pushing her in mixed, and Georgia and Tyra are pushing her in women's. Unfortunately for those names, historically when Anna Leigh has been pushed, or when she's lost, she comes back with even more fire. So it's going to be interesting to see what 2026 holds. Next week is the Minnesota tournament, so make sure to stay tuned for more pro pickleball, and make sure to subscribe if you made it this far.